welcome to another Coding Things IRL stream. This is a Saturday stream, midday. It is a beautiful day where I'm at. I hope it's a beautiful day where you're at too. We are getting ready to get started. There's not much left to do on this game. The major things that I wanted to get done are pretty much done. The major things that I wanted to get done are pretty much done. And there's one or two major things that I still need to implement, but when those are done, I think I might be comfortable releasing this. And I know that a lot of people have been asking about it, so I'm excited to bring it to you guys. It will, of course, be entirely free. I am planning on making the code open source, but I do want to kind of remove a couple of things from there before I do that. But yeah, I think that this is going to be done shortly, and then we'll be moving on to something else. Let's go over to the chat. Mushroom Cow, what's going up? Getting mixed up. Yeah, I got mixed up too. I got confused between a skull and an alien. I think it looks. I'm happy with alien. I'm totally cool with alien. Alien works for me. Alien works for me, even though it wasn't what I was intending. Did I mention I'm not the best artist in the world? Hang on a second. Alright, sorry about that. My door was ajar. Alright, I don't think I did this yet, so let me go ahead and do it now. For those of you who don't know, my name is Adam. My stream is called Coding Things IRL because that is what I do. I love to code and I love coding. I actually posted on Twitter earlier that I was invoicing a client, and it felt weird because, you know, I'm charging somebody for something that I actually love to do. It'd be like, you know, there's a lot of people out there, not a lot, but a handful of people out there who get paid to play video games in front of people. I mean, I don't know. That just seems like it would be the coolest job ever. But I get paid to code, and I love it, so it's pretty sweet. The only thing I have to deal with is people, and people are, yeah, well, as long as I produce something good, I think the people will be happy, and they'll be a lot easier to deal with. But anyway, I digress from the point of today's stream. I want to get right into it. I want to get right into the coding. The first thing that I want to implement is a Control Z redo for deletes. So currently, if we try to delete something and then we try to undo a delete, maybe we deleted a little bit too much, we don't have that ability. I'll show you in just a second. Let me flip over to the right repo. Earlier I was working on the Franken UI website, and that is now done. It is published and it is over to the clients. Of course, it looks a lot different than the last that we touched it, and it's got all of its current content, and man, it looks amazing. When you put the images on it, it really brings it to life. And I'll do another website where I can show that to you guys. Just personal one that I don't have to protect the information. So that you can see how it comes to life whenever we add the images. You have to be kind of disciplined and keep that in your mind. At the end, it will look good. You have to be confident about that. And because what you see when you're developing it is, you know, there's stuff all over the place, but you just have to power through that, fill it with the content, and then adjust it. I think is the quickest way to make a website. Definitely don't go through with the minutia, because, you know, once you add everything in, that might actually change. So get everything in your eye and then change it. That's what I would recommend for website making. Probably development as a whole too. It's easy to get caught up in little things, but it's not good. Okay. So here we have the code, and let me go over to the game and show you what I'm talking about. Issue. that I need to deal with. Okay, so I have my alien here, and I go ahead and erase some of it. And then I Control Z, and you see it doesn't. I would expect it to re-add the pegs that I just deleted. So I think we need to make that happen. And there's going to be a little bit of a structural change that we need to do. But the first and most important thing we need to do is on key up, we need to get the history. We need to get it on key down when it starts, when the control initiates. And then we also need to get it when that's done. So let's see how we can handle that. So everything, all of the functions actually, and this is probably not the smartest thing, but all of the functions use all of the state manipulating functions stem from one function called handle main. With the exception of the undo and redo, but we're not dealing with that right yet. All of the, we're adding and removing, that's handle main. Adding and removing is handle main. Mouse move and click. So that handles the previews and the actual pegs that we put down on the board. And that goes into handle main, which is on renderer. So we'll move over there. Actually, no. What is it called? Okay, so this is where it decides whether it's removing or adding, and I call that handle it, but that needs to be changed. I'm not worried about it right now. So handle remove is where we need to go into, because this is where we need to save the state at some point. So the first thing that happens is we're holding the control key, and then we're continually calling this handle main function as we're hovering. Okay. Now, I think what we want to do. See, this is a click event, right? And it's also a mouse move event. Okay. The mouse move event we send in a true as the last argument. That's how we can tell the difference within the thing. Within the function. So what we want to do is we want to, for the entire time that somebody's holding control, at the moment that they press control, and maybe it's the moment that they remove a peg. Here, let me check. Hold on. So I'm holding control here. I'm still getting a preview, but I'm also removing. Okay, let's go into that handle remove function and see exactly how that works, because that's the one we're gonna need to change. All right, so here we go. Handle remove. All right. Every time we're adding a preview, that's what this is doing. And we're also calling remove shape at mouse position. So let's go into that. This one calls clear all previews. That makes sense, I think. And then it gets the position, and then it draws the shape. I mean, with two falses. Let's see what those two falses. Okay, so in draw shape, we have the last argument set to adding. And right here, we go, if adding, then we do this. And then we do, otherwise, we are filtering. We're setting this remove property, blah, blah, blah. It happens further along down in a loop that runs continuously in the quote unquote background. All right, so when we are doing this, if we're removing any of these, new peg, hold on a second. So new peg is not, I don't like the name of that. I want to call that peg exists, or peg match. We'll just call it peg match. And so if we match a peg, then we set the removed to true. Okay. I kind of want to see like how many times is this being called? Are we in this if statement continuously? Not alert. Because this might be the ideal place to put this capture. So console log peg match. And we just want to see how many times we get that console log as we're removing. We don't have to get rid of this broken alien, but... Alright, so we got 3 of these here, and I'm hoping that we see this 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Not just continuously. Hopefully it's just like 3. Okay, no, we see 200 times. And then do we see more? Yeah, okay, so it's just doing it continuously. Let's console log that actual value and see what it is, because the if statement might not be enough. We might have to compare it to something else. I don't know, though. Back over here in renderer, where we put our console log, where was that? Right here. Just get rid of these quotes and just console log the actual value of the variable. All right. You don't want to make that too much because it's going to be a couple things, right? Yeah. Every time it is a mesh. Okay. But only certain times is the parent not equal to null on this peg match. So we can say if peg match.parent or peg match, just to be safe, peg match and peg match.parent, which will get rid of the nulls. It'll filter out the nulls for us. And so in 3JS it should be that the parent, when the parent is null, it's not added to the scene, so you can't see it on the scene. Okay. It doesn't seem like it's working, right? So the parent is equal to null, right? If peg match, peg match.parent, not peg.parent. All right, let's try that this time. Where's my mouse? Fresh. All right, how's this gonna go? I gotta stop moving my windows around. It's a bad habit. Okay, look at that. It doesn't work anymore. Doesn't work anymore. All right. That means that even when it's on, even when it is on the, even when it's on the board, the parent is null. So I guess I was wrong about that. It's okay. But let's find out if we can compare the UUID. So for each peg, we're comparing, I mean, the distance to the peg will be 0, and it's always finding 1. Kind of crazy, huh? I guess when it's looping through all of them, it will always find 1. Right? The pegs are all the pegs. And when we're doing map, we're looping through all the pegs. It needs to match with the mouse position, though. this position right here. So the position, the distance to position must be 0, I believe. If position is a vec 3, then that will work. Let's see. Okay, we're no longer removing. But it could be because of a different reason. We could have caused a different error. So let's take out this and here. And see if we are removing at that point. Because I think there's a different issue. Sometimes it can look like the exact same thing, but it turns out to be, you know, something else. Alright, we're removing again. That's good. I just want to clear this. And then I want to add one and then just remove the one. Try to make as little of those console logs as possible. And I just get a whole bunch of them. All of the parents to them are null. The UUIDs are different. So, I mean, since we're looping through the pegs, why don't we match the UUID to the peg? Let me try one more thing too. Okay. So I'll refresh and I have no pegs on the board, right? And I'm control, hovering, whatever. And I still get matches. How am I getting pegs when there's no pegs there? Is it because, yeah, it's because of the is preview, huh? Yeah. Let me filter on is preview. So I think I can just chain this. Makes the most sense to me. Oh my gosh, how far am I? There we go. So this one will be filter, peg, and not peg is preview. So we're getting rid of all of the previews. Alright, let's see what we got now. Definitely makes like a strobing effect. I think that's a good sign. But still, we get like all these different meshes. I don't know, man. And then also the distance. Poof. It's not even regarding the distance. That's weird. Okay, but if I don't have anything on the board, all right, and then I hover a little bit, I'm still matching, which doesn't make any sense to me. That definitely doesn't make any sense. I shouldn't have any pegs on the board. Oh, I'm filtering new pegs? So if I'm filtering new pegs, it still should have... Maybe we're having a name collision here. Let's try like just a different name. Because, I mean, I don't know. See if that works. Okay, so... And I'm about to just move on. Yep. Okay. Alright, so... all that to say, I don't think this is the right place for us to be doing this. Unfortunately... could do it elsewhere though. So where we're actually removing the pegs is on the renderer loop, and that happens up here basically. So how can we handle this? We are passing pegs into here. Okay. There's got to be a simple way to do this. I don't think this is the right place to do this, though. I think, honestly, I'm just going to try to make two separate events for this. When you press Control, it will save the state, basically. Let's see. Not save the state. And then we'll also save the state on Control Up. And then we'll bind those two events. I think we can revise this a little bit like this. Actually, you know what? We'll do that different. Do that a little different. We'll leave that in. And then we'll just add another if statement. If I hope that works. CTRL for the key. Let's just test and see if that makes. We'll alert so that we can make sure that we're actually firing the event. All right, let's see. I don't see it. Yeah, no. Let's just try the if statement revision then. This will be any key that comes after Control, basically. Possibly even Control itself. So we'll open up the Control key if statement like this. Then the if statement's inside. And then we'll save state on Control down. And then the key up event as well. Which we might decide to do differently, I don't know. All right, let's test it out. Okay, so it just fires a bunch of them. It's constantly saving the state. That might be okay. I mean, we don't need to fix something if it ain't broke. So that might be okay. Let's just move forward as if that's okay, and we'll see what happens. Okay, the Control Z is not working, which sucks. But it's not working at all, so in a way that's kind of good. I think that we want to keep the save state on key up. Maybe not the one on key down. Let's just try that really quickly. And then I have another idea. Let me take a look at that key up. I don't think that's right. Let's try to do it. I guess I need to prove that first. Hold on. So we'll do an alert inside of here to prove that it's either firing or not firing. And that's the most proper way to do it. Why pursue something if you don't really know if it's something worth pursuing? Okay, but yeah, you see that? I'm not getting any event to fire. I thought so, but it's good to confirm. Alright, so back up here to the control event. Which we will now make it an any key event. Any key up. Probably any key except for Z. And Y. Yeah. And yeah. Really, it should be control, but I don't see control working properly. Okay. That's not working. So the state must be saved before the delete occurs, prior to the delete, right? So it must be saved before anything is removed. I mean, probably we want to save the state when we do control down. Maybe saving it on key up is wrong. Let's try that. So if we have control key, save key, yeah, whatever. And we'll just stop returning. Because I was doing both before. It may just be that this is the answer right here. I don't know. What do you think, Mushroom? We'll figure it out. So I know that that's happening constantly. I know that that's happening constantly. Let's try to handle this with a Boolean, because I know that here, again, we'll prove that this is happening constantly with an annoying alert. And what I think we'll see is when I'm holding control down, you'll see it's just constantly firing like that. I think I can fix that simply by using which key, using the proper key designation. I think I prompted it incorrectly. Oh yeah, see there's now full, it's spelling out control. Okay. Now we'll need a Boolean. Alright, so we'll fire this, and we'll add if not holding control. Then we have to open this up. We set holding control to true. And then on key up, we do holding control is false. And we might be able to save the state history there as well. I think that actually makes sense, so that we can control Y back to it if we so choose to. All right, let's see. There's down, it fired once. And then there's up. But you see, the problem still is that we're still firing when we press Control again for Control Z. We can use Alt to delete, and it would save this. So I'm just going to do that now. So Control Z, that's fine for that. Here, let's see. Maybe so the event has something called Control key. Maybe it also has Alt key. I don't know if that's true. Quick idea. Why not make a delete all button? You could do a delete all button. I absolutely am on board with a delete all button. Yeah, that's a great idea. I will probably do that next. All right, so holding control, false. And then we wanted to see if it was Alt key, if there was an Alt key. So, Alt key, yeah, that makes sense. So there we want that to remain the same, but we want this to be Alt key. And I think we want this to be Alt key as well. And we can worry about renaming it in a moment. But I think these keys are overlapping. It would be a lot easier to designate different keys. So now I should be able to hold my Alt key and delete, and then Control Z, and it's still not working, but that's fine. But the Alt works fine. Let's see. There's probably some other things that we need to do. Yeah, okay, so this needs to be Alt. And this needs to be Alt. I noticed that the events were not firing. Okay, so let's disable this right here. And also get rid of the alert, because I see it working correctly. So I'm happy about that. Oh, yeah, it's Alt now. Well, I don't see it working. Let's do this. Let's console log the state history. And then we'll check the console. Okay. We have array of 5. That's correct. Oh wait, no, that's not correct. Interesting that it's an array of 5. Five states. Why would it be 5? Oh, I think I know. Yeah, there we go. It's 3. So it's 3 actions that we're taking. Essentially. And it starts with 1. So it's 2 actions that we're taking on top of the initialization. That's why we see 3 in that array right now. The top one should have 1 peg. Let's see. I actually can't delete that anymore, surprisingly. Oh, I think I see what's happening then. Alright. Yeah, I know what's going on. We don't have the ability to filter these pegs. Or we don't have the ability to re-add the pegs on Control Z. So we have to revise that. I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I forgot. So we have a redo function here. And basically, that's how it's adding the pegs. And this is how it's removing the pegs. Okay? But this needs to be able to add the pegs as well. Alright, so let's take a look at this. If we can compare these, then we can actually do this kind of in line like this. So let adding, if adding, and then else. I think that's the opposite of what we want, but we can go ahead and test it out. I'm just not able to delete anymore. That's weird. I wonder how that broke. I don't... Yeah, I don't recall doing anything to break that. Let's see. I'm looking at the GitHub. Oh, I'm such a dup. Oh my gosh. Okay. I changed it to the Alt key. Alright, still not working. Unfortunately. Alright, let's go in. 1, 2, delete that. And the history should end. It should end with a peg in 2. Hold on. There we go. So in this array, the last item in it should have 2 pegs. There's 4. One is preview. That's not an issue. This one is the same one. Also is preview. I'm looking for 2 not is previews, basically. Is preview false? That's 1. And I have to check just for completion's sake, even though this is really hard on my eyes. Is preview true? That's not correct. That's the problem. So the state that we're saving right here is the current state. So let's see. How is that possible? So when we do key down, we save the state. I'm just curious, is the one before that? Because it kind of just seems like I did a bunch of work for nothing. Hold on. So save state history on control down. Kind of seems like that's doing too much at this point. Oops, get away from me. No. Alright, well, I mean, that's good to know, I guess. That it's at least not doing too much. Let me think about this for a second. Here, let's try this, just for the sake of seeing something work. Because, I mean, I've been going at this for too long without seeing something work. Let's clear out the state history. And then we'll push that to the state history, making it the only state history. Might need to push it twice. Assignment to a constant variable. Yeah, no. Okay. Doesn't need to be a constant variable at all. Oops. Alright. Jeez. Alt. Alright, what's the excuse now? No excuse. An array of 1. Let me try this real quick. Hold on. It removed all the pegs? It's a weird behavior. Now I know that this is if the history pegs is greater than the state pegs, then we're adding pegs. Okay. But that's wrong. This should be if not adding, then that's how we should be handling it. We should be filtering it, I think. No. Let's see the adding variable. Let's see what that comes up to be. I gotta press Control-Z a couple times. Alright. And we don't see it. It's weird. Does that mean that the undo function's just not being fired right there? Or did we put it inside of the if statement? Nope. It's just never seems to come up. I wonder why. Let's go into the undo function. The first thing that we do on the undo history is, or on undo, is push to the undo history. The second thing we do is we pop off the state history 1. Okay. I'm wondering when I'm holding control. I don't think I have that function enabled anymore, do I? I just want to try this real quick. Pop one prior. Nah, I'm not gonna guess like that. That's lame. All right. I guess my question is, are we getting in here? I think we are. I think we are. But the state history at that point, right there, that has 2 pegs in it. It should have 2 pegs in it. 2 pegs, right? 2 non-preview pegs. That's 1. That's 2. Okay, that's not 1. That's good. And finally, also not 1. So that means that when I press Control Z right now, there should be 2 pegs on the board. Should be 2. But I don't think it's even firing somehow. I don't think it's even firing. So let me go into this function. And I think this is what we're dealing with right here. If history.length equals 0, return somehow. All right, so let's go through this again. Add 2, take away 1, Control Z, and you see it's not firing. Not even at all. Now it's firing. Nothing. Okay. So somehow the history is getting wiped. And it's probably this, but it's not exactly what I expected. Let's see what. Still nothing on the state history, and I can see this console log, right? I can see the console log happening here. The console log is, what does it say? The latest thing here, I'm not even gonna count that. I can do a filter to I'm not gonna do that. Here, let's just do this instead. Refresh, add one. You should be able to just take the one away, right? And then Control Z. Nothing happened there. Okay. So the one that this would go to is this one, and it has 4 pegs. Oh god, I hate this. Preview false. Rendered true. Preview true. Preview true. And preview true. So 3 previews. Why would the state history be blank at this point? Doesn't make much sense. Is it getting popped somewhere else? It's getting popped right there. Let's console log that. Yeah. Take out some of the other console logs. That one needs to go. I don't think we have a problem with this one, but I'll go ahead and get rid of it. Doesn't need to be there. Alright, cool. So let's see. Refresh. And I'll use Alt key. Alright, and I've pressed Control Z a bunch of different times. And it doesn't even look like it's getting there, huh? So here we have if state history dot length is greater than 1. Can we make that greater than 0? Because it can be 1. Still nothing. Unbelievable. Okay. All right. Let's see what it is. How? How? Pretty weird. Okay. So that it's not even getting there. So what happens further up that could cause that? Control Z. Yeah, nothing. Nothing happens further up that could do that. Except for this. This is interesting. Why would we be doing that? I don't think that's it. Yeah, okay, I know why we're doing that, actually. That's fine. State history. Look for the whole word. Just try to find somewhere else where this is being manipulated. So redo. Channel main. It's just pushing, though. It's just every time it gets pushed to, so I don't see why... I don't understand why we're not calling this function right now, you know what I mean? It's gotta be something else. I gotta have this filtered or something, right? No. I don't. It's just not calling the function? Hold on. What if we alert it? I don't know. If it's undefined, I feel like it would register as undefined unless there's some kind of filter on there. But no, it's not even calling the function at all. What's up with that, man? That is weird. It's just not calling it. Man, I got nothing. I have no idea why that's behaving that way. I have no idea why that's behaving that way. When I press Control Z, the undo should definitely fire. But alright, I mean, I could put it back this way. If for whatever reason it's not, that doesn't work. I mean, looks logical to me, but stranger things have happened. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess there is a difference between that and what I had there. That's really crazy. But alright, move forward at least. Confused. I'll move forward even though I'm confused. Alright, do we have other alerts? Yeah, here. Alright, so let's see. What kind of damage are we working with? Still have the Alt key for delete. Still not doing Control Z properly for the deleted pegs. But we are able to do just undoing the pegs right here, right? No, actually. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So maybe this was right in the beginning. Possibly. I don't know. Just a guess. I want it to happen quickly, you know? No. That's right the way it was. That's fine. Okay. So if we're not adding, then we're mapping the pegs to state.pegs. But I don't think that's right. It's going to be more like that, where we're mapping it to the history pegs. Sorry, I think that was fine. I don't I didn't mean to delete that. So just like up here, we need to set all of them to rendered false, I suppose. I'm just going to copy this. I think it's going to be like pretty much the exact same thing. Okay. All right, let's delete some. Not quite. Yeah, not quite. Yeah, okay. I guess I would need to find out if I'm actually getting here. That would be step 1. No. It never goes there. Okay. So it's always false. But, I mean, we should probably be filtering them. I hope that helps, honestly. No, hasn't helped. All right. I remember saying this was going to be easy. Does that still work? Yeah, it does. I mean, a crude way that we could do this would be just add to our undo history. Right? And then count the undo as a redo, I guess. If the last thing that we did was delete. I don't like that though. I don't like that as a solution. This should work. In the moment that we have our history pegs greater than our state pegs, on an undo we will be adding. But it is never true. Why? Must be because we're saving the state too many times, my guess. Let's see if we can pinpoint that as a potential. So, on the main function that we have, we're saving the state here every time we're not is preview. Let's try that. So that we can single those out, at least. Nope. Well, I guess, are they always equal? The two lengths? Are they sometimes, is one sometimes greater than the other? What's the relationship, I guess? Did I say console log? Console log, I meant. Oh well, keep going. Yeah, we're console logging those. Let's just see what numbers we get on those. So Alt and then Control Z. Pressing a couple times even. I'm not seeing any console logs. Most likely because the history.length is 0. Take that out. Might break further, but at least I'll get a console log. So it's not that. I'm guessing it's this. I'll get rid of that as well. Hoping to break it, to be honest. I'm hoping to break it. Nope, didn't even break it. Just annoyingly works without any error. Or doesn't work without any error. Annoyingly. Let's rethink this a little bit. So, every time we're adding a peg, we're saving the state. So if we're removing pegs, we have the state in the undo history from when we started. That's the last thing that we're saving to the state. Or it should be. That's what I want to test first. That's what I want to test first. The last thing that we are saving to the state should be, to the state history, should be the one with the pegs down. So let's see that. We have to, how do we prove this? I want it to be here. Well, here's what I'll do. I have the key up event somewhere. I'll go ahead and re-enable that. And then in this function, not an alert, but a console log on state history after I've pushed to it. Okay. And what I want to see is when I lift up the control key, I should see 2 states in the state history, I think. Let me filter this so I can make it easier to read. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to put it as is. So when I lift up my finger from the control key, I should see, what I would need to see is an array with only one preview peg, I think. No, two. Two would have to be the top one, right? So let's just try that. Okay, one will have to be the top one now. I don't see anything in the console. That's weird. That's a problem. That might be the problem, huh? Alright, let's try this experiment again. Key up. But no console log, huh? Yeah, no console log. Let's get rid of that. So we are not saving the state there on key up. Now we are. And the last one, I'm not going to look, but it should have stuff in it. Okay. We're getting closer. But we still need to do a couple more things. So that's saving the state when we do the control key up. But I think we need to do it when we... I know I keep going in circles. I think we need to do it when it goes down. And I think that the issue was that Alt key is not... it's not going to fire at that point. So what I think... It's just what I think. Alright, let me disable this one because I think that the history should be prior to deleting anything, right? That should be the last one. Otherwise, we're just going back to where we were. Alright, still nothing. But let's see. Are we saving the history properly? And are we only doing it once? Now, I seem to remember this one actually working properly. But whatever. Alright, we've got one array of 6. Okay, and if we pull this last one, which is the one we would revert to, we've got... See, can I pull this over and see this? No, I can't. I don't want to look through 5 of these, man. I really don't. I wish there was a quicker way to do this, but whatever. True. True. My eyes hurt, man. True. True. And false. There's one on the board. Right. That's correct. Here, let's add one peg and just delete it. Okay, this is the penultimate one. And you see we've got, okay, that's nice. True. And we've got false. So when I press Control Z here, it should work, but you can see it doesn't work like that. So what I have on the state history, or the state right now, is nothing. 0. The state pegs is 0. I don't see these two console logs, so this function isn't even getting fired. I don't. Again, with this, something else is the matter. All right, so this alt Control Z, no alert, right? None whatsoever. There's one. Only when I add stuff to the board, though. What gives? What gives, dude? What is the difference? Really strange. Really strange. The only thing I can think of is I can't think of anything, to be honest. This should definitely be undoing right now. Control Z. It should at least call the function, right? I should see the function called, or I should see an error. And I see neither. After an alt. After a delete. How is that possible, man? I want to venture to say that even before I did any of these changes, I would have deleted and then the function would have worked. So let me stash these, and then let me see if I can kind of work my way backwards. All right, so let me go and add an alert to the undo here. So function undo. We'll add an alert here, and we want to make sure that this is firing where it is not on the stash changes. So let's see. All right. So I'll hold Control this time to delete. And you see right there immediately, we're good to go, right? So something got haywire with the controls, and I think I want to start over because I had a little bit of a different, I had a little stray. Now, don't worry, I think that we can get through this relatively quickly here. So let's plan it out though, so that we can execute it more effectively. So when somebody keys down, when somebody deletes anything, it needs to save it at the beginning of the delete. And that's it. That's it. Let's try this. Let's try to make a variable for removing, and then within the handle main function, we will add to the state history I got it. there. Oh yeah, so here we'll do if deleting, then we'll push to the undo history. Actually, you know what? I think I want to handle that a different way. So there we can save the pre-delete state, and that's good. That's all we need to do right there. Save the pre-delete state. Every time somebody presses Control, save the pre-delete state, and then only when they undo will we redo from the state. So we'll take the redo function and we'll modify this to be able to accept a state. And then we can use the nullish coalescing operator here. Or we can just use or, that's fine. To designate that we will basically not be affecting the undo history at all. It'll still be in place. I'm going to revise this a little bit because there's more that I have to do if the state is not null. I like passing in redo state as an idea. Yeah, so if redo state is not equal to null, then redo state will equal undo history pop. I think that's as far as we need to go for now. Okay. And then on the undo function, we'll say if pre-delete state, and it's just going to assign the state? No, I don't think so. We'll do redo pre-delete state, and then we'll set pre-delete state to null, and then else if all of that. And we could do this pretty much every time. I think we can also do this every time. But it would be... I do have to copy it like this. Actually, you know what? I think... Yeah, no, that's fine. I think I have to actually do that afterwards, right? I'm not even going to do it all. Do it at all. Let's see if this works first. Alright, so I should be able to delete some. And yeah, I don't see anything, so let's see what's going on. Got an error, got one message. I don't see any messages, but that's fine. There we go. just going to move this alert and see if I'm actually getting in here. And I don't think I am. See, I'm not getting in there. So this pre-delete state is set to null every time. Or it's, you know, not set to anything. So here we have, if not deleting, then we are saving the pre-delete state and setting delete to true. Else we're setting deleting to false. But where does it become true? It should become true every time if we're holding the control key. That's one thing. Not necessarily should delete the or save the state, but yeah. Interestingly enough, we got in there just then. So I'm wondering, maybe things are a little backwards. Maybe we have things a little backwards on the redo state. On the redo, I mean. So pre-delete state only gets saved when we're not deleting, and we go in to not deleting and it saves it immediately. It should, right? Maybe we need to put that after handle remove, or put handle remove after that. Perhaps. I don't know. Be honest with you, I'm not having a great time today. Okay. So we're getting the control key. We're getting the control key when we are, or we're deleting. We only have the pre-delete state after we're adding, which is the opposite of what we wanted. I want it to be somewhere else. Here we say the okay. I think that's wrong, first of all. I think that's causing an issue, honestly. All right, yes, that's issue number one, is that the undo history is being cleared out every time but wow, man, I'm so confused. I'll be completely honest. I am so confused. I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna be back nice and refreshed, give myself a nice little bit of coffee. And don't go anywhere. I know it's not the most interesting thing in the world, but yeah, we'll try to pick it up when we get back. Maybe do some other stuff. All right, don't go anywhere. Be right back. All right. Let's continue. So the goal here is to make it to where press control, and once it saves the state, that should look a lot like this. And it's probably throwing it off, to be honest. Let me go ahead and poop this out. Hold on. There we go. And I still like the idea of having deleting as a variable. So deleting equals false. Now I think inside of here we'll say if not deleting, and we'll do all that. Not state, I don't think. If we are not deleting, here, I actually think if we want to do if we are deleting, that's when we want to okay, we're in control here. No, we're in is preview here. Okay. We're in not is preview here. So every time we are adding a peg right here. And that wouldn't count for our remove right now, because those are previews. What happens if I blank this out? Or get rid of it, I mean. Does this mess things up too badly? Not really. It doesn't appear to. I don't recall exactly what that was for, to be honest. I think it was a miss. I didn't really need to do that. Yeah, I didn't really need to do that. Okay. I'm sure I'll figure out why that was there at some other point. It'll come back to bite me. Thank you, Mushroom Cow. It's good to have you. I appreciate you. let's continue. So I think that was nefarious. I don't think it was meant to be there. And then I think I began to do it previously, but I think I need to do it here again. Excuse me. If event.control key, I'll just copy that from there. If event.control key, then we'll do state is handle remove. Yes, that's correct. And then the very basic of this is that's the same thing as below, just two different if statements. Now, on handle remove, we want to say if not deleting, set deleting to true, and also we want to state to populate the state history, just like that. And I think that's all we need to do, with the exception of some other stuff, which we'll get into. Okay, so now if we are deleting, yeah, we don't need to do that. Over here we can set deleting to false, since we are definitely not deleting if we're not holding the control key. Alright, I don't want to go too far. I just want to make sure that alone works. And then also, perhaps that's even just the answer. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure I know what the effect of this is going to be, but... Okay. Control Y. Still working. It's good. Delete a couple of them. Yeah. Still the same thing because we're not adding the pegs. So I want to see if we can detect if we are doing an add by comparing the lengths of the two arrays. So let's go back in. Let's go to the undo function, and we'll console log the state history. Actually, no. Up in here is where we'll do it. We need to console log the prev state .pegs .length, and then also console log state pegs length. One will be greater than the other depending on which direction we're going. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Control Zing there. Should see some numbers in the console. Okay. So we've got 6, 7, 5, 4, 4, 5, 3, 2. Interesting. Let's run that again. Again, kind of interesting. It doesn't seem to... Here, I'm going to do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. I think my keyboard might be dying or something. So we got 5, 6, 4, 3, 3, 2, and 2, 1. And the pattern there is that the first is always greater than the second in that sequence. So in this case, the prev state peg's length is greater than the state peg's length. So we could say here, let adding equals that. Okay? And then we're going to do something different if we're adding. But let me think about that for a second. So in each one of those instances that we just had, the first, the previous state, and they were proper undos where we were removing pegs. And it's saying that the previous state length is greater. So that's something to worry about, because that shouldn't be the case. When we're undoing, it should be that the state has more than the prev state. Should be, right? Because we're removing them, right? Taking one and reverting it to the other. On an undo, the state would have more than the previous state. Open source. You're not late, you're just on time. We're just chilling. I'll probably go long today, and honestly it hasn't been going well, but I think it's about to start since I got coffee. But yeah, no worries, man. I just appreciate you joining in general. Appreciate you very much. Alright. Alright, guys. Let's keep going. So, what I was trying to say is that we're seeing these console logs, and they weren't what I expected, because the prev state length, when we're doing an undo, should be less than the state length. Now, I'm thinking that maybe if I filter it, it will reflect correctly. I hope so, at least. I mean, I would like that to be true, because it would really be helpful for my sanity. Alright, okay, great. So now let's run that again. That particular thing that we just did. Control Z, Z, Z. And F12. And this time we have 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 0, 1. Interesting. Okay. But that's, I think, proven my point, right? In all of these instances... Wait, no. Did it disprove my point? 2, 3, the prev state. The prev state's the top one, right? That's what we did. I really should label things. I'm too lazy. Yeah, so the prev state in all cases should be less. Should be less than the current state. So, yeah, except for when it's equal. That's fine. 2, 3, 1, 2. Yep, exactly. This is expected. Also, like the stream. Thanks, Mushroom. I appreciate you for being there. But, yep. Let's see. Alright, guys. Let's do... Okay, so this is what we expected, so that's good. So now we have to use these in comparing them. So it's going to be let adding equals this is if the previous state is greater than the current, then we'll be adding. We can also say equal to as well, I think. No, we won't, because we're not adding. We are not adding if we're doing greater than equal to. That would be a lie. Okay. I know that's pretty hard to read. Maybe that'll improve it marginally. Yeah. If the pre blah blah is greater than the yeah. Okay. So then we'll do All of this stuff is if not adding. Oops. It's all if not adding, I believe. Except for remove stray pegs. We'll probably get rid of that, or probably keep that one outside of the if statements. You know, I'm actually gonna... Yeah, there's definitely a million ways to do this. I'll just land on one. I'll pass this adding into this function, because I think I do need to have this in my undo history here. So I'll pass this into my adding function. Or, yeah, that, you know what I mean. And then... within that function, this is if not adding. So I'll just do this. Okay. And then else we'll do basically what we're doing in the redo, right? It sets all of the rendereds to false. Then we can simplify this by calling the other function and setting that variable to true. That variable, which we forgot to pass in, is called adding. But we can go a step further here as well. Because in reality we can be adding or subtracting. So that's it. Did we finally get it? Did we finally get it? Nah. It's alright though. Alright, so the first question that I have about that is, do we ever go into adding? I have other questions about it too, but yeah, that looks good. I'm just comparing that to what I had up here. You get rendered as false and then removed, set to is preview. Looks great. There's a return there. Yeah, that would have been fine. Perfectly fine. I believe. And then we're never getting into the adding, I'm assuming. So let's see. On undo, we'll go ahead and do the adding console logout. And see, you know, see what it says. False every time. So I just rang it a bunch of times. False every time. Alright, that's the problem. So if it's false every time, then the comparison doesn't work properly. Why? I wonder why. it's a pretty big bunch of data, the entire state to read through. So thinking about how to figure out why this is not firing properly. My door just randomly went open. Excuse me, hold on. Gotta fix that busted latch. Alright, no worries. Let's see, what do we got? Man, this is a drag right now, I'll be honest. I think I'm about to just, but I'm still, just give me 1 more minute and I'll, yeah. So this adding is never set to true, so that means the previous state pegs, no. There's no way. There's no way. I must have a... No. No. I don't think there's any way. Because I saw it. We both saw it. Those numbers were, you know, the previous state one was greater. I guess. Right? So the previous state is greater, that means we are adding. And if we are adding, that means we need to call the add function. Redo state comes from undo history pop. That's there, but the history goes into this function. Where's the undo function? It goes into there. Prev state comes from state history pop, and we're saving that. We're saving that like right before, I think, right? Or ideally we're not. We're saving it whenever we're adding a peg, we're saving it. You can get rid of that, I think. And here's the other place that we're adding it. Deleting is not such a default, set to true by default, so this should be happening once. So I can console log this. Log state history. Length is probably fine. I'm not going to read all that. We should be able to see that after I delete these. Or actually it should just be when I hold the control key. Okay, we got 2. 2 is good. That's a good number. But it's still not the right number. Let's do this. Let's make a new. Let's clear out the. No, not that. We don't want to clear out the pegs. All right, I'm doing this. I'm moving on. Moving on to something else. We'll do this another time. This is obviously not meant for right now. I'll keep that just for reference. Although I kind of hate it already. Alright, we're moving on to something else. And what that something else might be, I don't know yet. Let's see. Alright, so my repositories. Alright. I actually have the issues on the other repository. I'm gonna have to move them over, but whatever. All right, let's take a look at the issues and see what we can pull from here. Control Y redo, we already did. Let's go ahead and close that one. I'm not really too worried about it. I haven't been keeping track of these. The color eyedropper, I actually found out that you have a color eyedropper here by default, which is pretty sweet. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what my mom always told me. So this one's gonna get closed. Alright, what else we got? Move, add, event, listener, function, possibly not doing that. Ellipses instead of circles? Ellipses instead of circles. Ellipses instead of circles. Ellipses instead of circles. We could try that. Let's try that. So currently we have our circles in shapes. Now, I said instead of circles, but I think I'm going to make it in addition to circle. Alright, so we're adding a new shape type called ellipse. We don't have this function yet. But we will make it. Alright, so right underneath make circle, we'll do make ellipse. Does ellipse have two L's? I believe it does. Yeah. Definitely two L's. Radius. Yeah, no. Definitely not. And definitely not midpoint. Yeah. I think what we want here, we want the rectangle that we're gonna get. But we want the length and the width. I'm concerned about the midpoint because technically the midpoint will be 2 points, but I guess we can figure out exactly what that is. So yes. Oh, that's an interesting figure. That's a very interesting figure. Okay. So underneath add circle, which is huge. Go ahead and do... Hey, yep. I don't believe I have on ellipse border. Happy that I can shut my brain off and let this work sometimes. Yeah, we're not going to call that in ellipse border. We'll call it in ellipse. I don't even think that's going to be right, but... One of these represents the focal distance, which is so cool that it knows how to do that by default. I'm probably speaking too soon. But, okay, so we have add ellipse. I think that's basically it. Let's see if it works. There's the option. Okay, still just a rectangle. But that's good to start with. If I had to take a guess right away, I'd say that we need to adjust these positions like this. And hopefully that's just right. Yeah. Well, it's right for the border. But that's great. I mean, we just need to filter the rest of them. So in ellipse works, right? So our add ellipse function, we should probably be... what? Make ellipse, actually? No, okay, we can do it right here. Alright, let's see how that works. Pretty sure it'll work. Yeah. Not really what I thought was going to happen. Now we're making us... oh, duh. We had circles selected. There we go. There's our ellipse. Cool. It's like a winking eye. Wink. Wink, wink. Let's see. Oh, wait. Yeah, I can't do it like that, but whatever. Cool. There's some ellipses. Happy to finally get something done. Alright, let's commit that so I can sleep at night. Alright. Ellipse. Yay. Okay, and back over to GitHub. The issues. Where are the issues at? Yeah, I'm gonna close this. That was weird. But alright, that's closed. Good to go. What's next? Rotate images. I kind of know how to do this, almost. I almost know how to do this. Let's do this. Up here we'll do let shape. And then instead of returning in these, we'll have to assign. And then since we're not returning, we'll need to add break statements. And I've cried many times forgetting to do that. So let's do this in a nice way. don't think we need a break on our default. I think it would be complaining at us if we did. So we'll go ahead and return shape. Actually, we need to jump out of this switch statement so we can do that. So return shape there, but before that, we will call a new function called rotate. And we're just going to pass in the state. Now, I want to make sure that we have this property, okay? We do have the property. Alright, so over here on main, we need to enable it. And the... Uh-oh. Close out of that. Doesn't like that. Okay, again. Rotation, which is a number between 0 and 2 pi. So I think we're dealing with radians. Okay. But don't quote me on that because I failed trig. I absolutely failed trig. Alright, we have an error here. Let's see what it is. Failed to resolve the module specifier. That's weird. How did I do that? Okay, there we go. Maybe just an undefined function, perhaps? It's fine, I'll deal with it right now. I just wanted to make sure everything was in place. Okay. So there is the rotation, and we need to make the rotate function. And oh yeah, we have to assign it like that. There we go. Don't ask me what that means. But yeah, let's see if it works. Rotate has already been declared. Did I start to do it like higher? What is that? Okay, well, we'll just have to rename ours to rotate shape. So that we don't have that collision. Still some kind of issue. Let's see what could have caused that. I mean, I don't see anything. Definitely doesn't look like that type of error. Okay. Whatever, right? Do we want to break here? I don't think so. Let me comment this out. My eyes can't see it right now. Had to have done something, right? Oh, did that add that in automatically? That's probably what that did. Okay, that's annoying. But whatever. Glad I figured it out. Wow. Okay. rotation. Doesn't work yet. We have some errors, that's good. Undefined. Sweet. What is undefined? So we do let shape. Shape equals rotate shape. Shape.map. Peg. Let's just return shape. And see if we are able to effectively bypass this and confirm that this is the problem area. Gotta pick a non-square shape. Okay, so problem area confirmed. The rotated shape here, it's not going to work like that, unfortunately, because we do not have an array of vec3s here. We have an array of pegs, which are the 3D object, and that's what this is expecting. So let me do this. We'll have to just rewire this slightly. In a kind of annoying way, but whatever. I went a little too far there. Make sure we're back with just the returns there. Yep. I can re-add this function here that I copied. And on, let's say, make triangle. Okay, so we have add triangle. Oof, that's going to be tough. Okay, again, just a little bit of rewiring that we need to do. So now we'll need to store an array of triangle positions. And in this if statement here, we'll store the positions, but we also need to store the color. We also need to store the color. So I think yeah, okay. So instead of that, we'll return the peg with the rotated position. And then we can painfully begin to re-add this. Because I'm kind of dumb sometimes. Try to be less dumb. Remember our return here. And remember... Actually, I'll just do this. Do a one line since it's pretty easy to do. Okay. Let's not forget, again, our break statements. Oh, I like that. It's a lot easier than copy-paste. Okay. That should do her, right? At least that should make it to where we're returning something other than a list of positions. It should not break it, right? Wishful thinking, huh? Any errors? Oh, tons. But I'm sure it's just simply we got something wrong here. Okay. We can't do that way, unfortunately. So I think we're going to have to do this the dot notation way. So peg dot position equals, and then we can return the peg so that it retains all of its properties and it matches as the properly typed object. Okay, good. Let's see if we have a rotation. No. But it's good that it's not broken. Happy that it's not broken. See if we can get it rotated though. Oh, Poiston. It's another thing I love about JavaScript. You never know when you've misspelled something. It'll just accept it. All right. So the position is a read-only object. And I might have to look this up. I assume that it's set position that is what they want you to use. No. Okay. Let's look at I have kind of an idea of what we can do. Kind of an idea of what we can do. We can just remove all of those and then, but yeah, whatever. Oh, you have to call position.set. Okay. That would have been my next guess, I promise you. Let's see if that is enough, rather than just deleting everything and re-adding it. Let's see if position.set is enough. Looks like it's working. Okay, rotation. Oh my goodness. Definitely working. Okay. That's cool. Alright. Sorry, I'm a little giddy about that. It's cool. It's kind of cool. Alright, so the rotation. Sorry, guys. It's kind of cool. Right. So we have minus y, and I think that we need to take this figure and multiply by the coefficient. I can get my fingers to work correctly. I would assume it's y coefficient, but I don't know. Maybe there's a good reason. I mean, it's, yeah. We'll see. What happened? Okay, click too happily. That's not right. But close, right? Kinda. So what is it doing? It's multiplying x and y by cosine rotation, and then it's subtracting or adding y times the opposite one, or the supplemental one. Seems like everything there would need to be adjusted. The multipliers might need to be adjusted. I don't know. We're gonna need to know the width and the height of the shape, right? You got the rotation, the width, and the height, but we're gonna need to know the width and height so that we can offset it properly, right? No. I think it should just be, so for x, it should be minus half width, minus width divided by 2 times coefficient. Yes. Yes. Correct. Except that needs to be order of operationized, parenthesized, chastised, whatever. All right, let's see what that does. Because it has to appear, you know, like on my thing. Nah, that didn't work. Okay, but if I take that away completely, is it still doing that fun thing? Yeah. And for this to, and one is dramatic and the other is not. I think dramatic is correct. We don't want it to be that. So let's get rid of those. Now you see you have the rotation. Kind of the opposite of what it should be. Fun. It's fun to play with. But not what we're going for, unfortunately. Again, a big old fat guess. Failed trig. Failed trig. Yeah, definitely. How can you submit your ideas? You can just tell me in the chat for now. I also have a Twitter. I also have a Discord. Although I don't really maintain it right now. I'm also planning on making a website. But for right now, yeah, I mean, you can just hit me up with your ideas. This is wrong. Alright, what do we got here? This is at 0 rotation. We'll go back. To the beginning of this, when it was working. Like this. And I'm pretty sure that when I had 0 here, the rotation was correct. Until I set it. And then it offsets by an unknown number until it gets to 2 pi. And then it becomes totally fine. So for 2 pi, I assume that the number that we're getting is 0 on both, or 1 on both. But then that it would be offset at all is just weird. It sets a new position here. And that position, that should be very small. It should be a very small change. The rotation should be very small, if at all. Oh, it worked. It was weird. Okay, but now it's not even translating correctly. See that? So if we get rid of this, what kind of effect does that have? It only goes left and right. The Y never increases. Curious, what does this become? Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I predicted. It follows it now. What happens if we set the rotation? You don't got any ideas? That's okay. Ideas aren't really worth anything. It's like, you know, how you execute something that really matters. Alright, so at 0, that resolves to 1. I'm gonna guess at 2 pi it also resolves to 1, but you see in the middle, it resolves to something other than 1. And that's no good. Because we don't have any kind of width here. I'm almost positive that we need to use the width and the height to control how we are offsetting this. I'm almost positive. And that's giving me the exact same thing. So I assume that it's going to do the exact same thing. I mean, it looks like the same thing. It is. Got nothing on the board. So that wasn't the answer. I mean, the aspect ratio here should be 1, right? If the length and the width is 1, but the math.floor, these numbers are too small for me to floor them meaningfully. But that's not it. Let's see. There, it's still working. Okay. But when we multiply it by the aspect ratio, it's no longer working. But that should be, especially here, we should have height and width of 1. So we should be multiplying by 1. How would that be behaving that way? Let's see. So the aspect ratio comes back as not a number. And that's weird. Because we are in selected options. Or we're in shape. Right. And that's why that doesn't come back as an actual number. Now we have an actual number. Which is good. It's still not doing what we wanted. So 1, 1, we would expect that to be not the factor here. That it's going far off, like it's not just offset by 1, you know. It's offset by a lot. Hey, what's going on, Cellware? I'm doing good. I'm kind of stuck on this one thing though. 2 things I'm stuck on. This is the second thing. Rotations. I'm about to give up. Because it's behaving strange. But alright, if we go back here at least to what was given to me before I started messing with it. Then we can start to see it working. Maybe I have to go back a little bit further, actually. Yeah, okay. This is how it was. So I said the rotation actually is going off. So I guess it's been doing that the whole time. That it's going so far off is kind of wild. You know? It's gotta be two things. If I have a peg and I want to rotate it, it should be just staying in the same place. If I have a triangle and I want to rotate it, the midpoint would stay in the same place. But all the others would be shifted. And it would be shifted by, God, I don't know. To calculate the distance between each. So if we draw like a triangle in between each of those points, then we would be calculating the distance of those triangles. So if we can do we can calculate a translation distance by each individual, and then a translation angle as well. So if we have a triangle here, each one of those points is going to be translated kind of a different angle, though. It'll be rotated. So its individual displacement they'll be different. They'll be different per position. Alright, so first of all, what we'll do is we'll calculate the displacement. Oh wait, that doesn't come from here. Consts. Trying to think if that's right. Multiplying it by pi divided by 180 to convert it to degrees. We can do that. That's fine, but I still need width and height from the shape, I guess. Well, I guess what it wants me to do... Here, hold on, let me go back. Where's rotation come from? I guess we're extracting that. I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. So within this, we can go width and height as well, and we're defining those variables. I did not know that you could spread like that. Or deconstruct like that, I mean. So next thing we want to do is calculate the displacement. I mean, that's not the displacement at all. That looks the same. It looks pretty much exact same. So I'm not high confident in that. You know what I mean? Oh, we broke it. Perfect. Let's see what broke. Why did we go broke? Something ain't being returned or something. Undefined, yeah. We didn't return it properly. Yeah, we need to do return. Yeah, these are actually called pegs. And we'll do within here. Or we'll do let position sub displacement. No, dude, no. the position should come from the peg like that. And then when we return, we should create a new object, spread the peg, and assign the position. No, we can't do it that way. Sorry, my bad. We have to call peg.position.set, and then that, and then return our peg. There we go. Okay, I think that's going to be the proper way to do it. What do you think? Bro, I'm always there to support you. Oh, that's so sweet of you. That's so sweet of you, Selware. I appreciate you. Alright, let's see. So there I think we did the exact same thing that we've done prior. Let's just see. It's trailing strangely. That looks good so far, actually. That looks like a rotated triangle. It's not... Yeah, okay, I see what's going on here. Yeah, that's perfect, actually. Just seems like... Let's see, is that... That's not gonna fix it, is it? No, that puts it back in that weird state. Okay, so that's converting it to degrees. But it's like too small. I think that's converting it to radians, to be honest. I think it wants this to be in degrees. So let's make that in degrees. So 0 through 360. 0 through 359. I meant 359. One less than 360. And it starts to offset. Not what I thought. Okay. Well, I am happy about the slight rotation, but it's not gonna be satisfying. Really feels like it's right there, you know what I mean? Feels like if I went to 60, it would work. I'll just set it to 60 and see what kind of rotation we get. I don't know these numbers. Hold on. Width and height. Okay, now it's doing that. Okay. So as that increases, you see it goes up to that number. And so we can set this to 359 now. And it will behave, this will be now in degrees, so we can safely assume that, I think. Let's see. So there we go, the triangle. Start to rotate it, and yeah, there it goes. Whee! All the way 360 degrees, all the way around. But why does it have a radius? What is this radius that it is? You know what I mean? Why is the why is that happening? Well, I have kind of a cheap way that we could do this. I have a kind of a cheap way that we can do this. Vikash Baba. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. Hello. I'm back from the bathroom break. Mushroom Cow, I'm glad that you're back. It's going good. I think we're about to crack this rotation. Okay, I cannot figure out why it's offsetting. Alright, I assume that it looks almost like it's offsetting by 1, where there are 6 on the entire board. So where we are deciding how we're displaced, first of all, we're always going negative. Always going negative on X. X is always going negative, which is not necessarily true. So I think we need to add to this. Not width divided by 2, I don't think. We can try that. I'm guessing this one needs to be minus. We can try that and see what that looks like, but I'm guessing that's not gonna be it. Man, I just wish that some trig wizard would come in here and just tell me exactly what's going on. This needs to be adjusted for sure. Otherwise, it's gonna go completely off the board. Okay. There we have the triangle. You can see that it is being displaced. Not properly, though. We'll have to multiply it by something. And I think it's going to be something with the rotation. I mean, I have no idea if that's right or not. Rotation modulo 2? Okay. Why? I have no idea, dude. It's not it, but the weirdness is definitely less defined. The rotation is the opposite direction, isn't it? If we're going clockwise and we need to go counterclockwise, then I think what we need to do is we need to take the rotation and divide it by 1, or 1 divided by the rotation. So rotation equals 1 divided by rotation. Or we need to divide it by the aspect ratio to normalize it. I'm not sure. That ain't it. Okay, good to know that ain't it. Let me just make sure that I haven't busted it some other way. Okay, good. Trying to think exactly what is happening there. It's not really regarding the mouse position at this point, is it? I'm thinking that's going to be a key, crucial point, actually, that we're not really regarding the mouse position. We're just displacing this. So the position of the mouse, I mean, that's not really, that's going to be something that's constant, right? Here, hold on, let me put that back, because I know that wasn't going to work just like that. The center of the object will be what it will be when it goes in here, regardless of the mouse position. So I don't think that's going to be it. I don't think that's going to be it. Sivanash Mujani, what is your opinion on JS? Okay, so I'm going to answer this seriously because I know I had that video where I'm going to make a different rant, but I'm going to answer this seriously. JavaScript is a great language for beginners. If you are learning programming and you need to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, concatenate, loops, all that stuff, I recommend JavaScript. I surely do. If you're trying to build apps with JavaScript like I'm doing right here, you're just going to have a bad time. Typing, order of arguments, things not being defined, you know, something not being defined should not be a runtime error. You shouldn't have to wait to find out, oh, I don't have that object, or oh, that was misspelled. I just had 10 minutes ago an issue where I spelled a variable wrong on an object and it didn't throw any kind of error, it just accepted it. Only in JavaScript. And Python, I think. You can do that in Python. And that ends up wasting so much time. And yeah, you think that you're going to have all this freedom and it's going to be great and you're going to go in there and you're going to code on rainbows, unicorns, and all that crap. But in reality, it's just an absolute crap show. Alright. Yes, Pentagon does have 5 sides. That is correct. Well done. Oh wow, my shirt looks weird. That's weird. That's not the right color of my shirt. Alright guys. Rotations. Why is this thing going all over the place? What's going on? Alright, I mentioned that I had a quick way of dealing with this. I kinda do. I kinda do. So, a vec3 has the distance to function. No, never mind. I'm gonna chat GPT this right now, actually. I'm gonna chat GPT it. Alright. I need to not be embarrassed about going to chat GPT. It's an amazing tool, and you know, I guess I kind of feel like I give up and I'm a failure when I use chat GPT, but at the end of the day, you guys want to play this game, and I can't be sitting here poking around with these rotations. This is a simple thing. My brain is just not capable of understanding it. Okay. This function. See, I knew in my head that it was something like that. You got to get the center point first. But I couldn't figure out exactly how to do it. Happens. Let's see if this works. No. But I think I can figure out why. Did it really do postion? No, I did postion. That was me. Can't blame ChatGPT for that one. Alright, there we go. Looks like it's following me properly. That's a good sign. Triangles look good there. Rotation. Rotation needs to be back in radians. So let's make that happen. I remembered a couple of things from Trig. Enough to kind of get by. Look, we're back in this position, huh? Okay. Good to know. Alright, we'll go back to ChatGPT. See if I can just eyeball it real quick. Width and height. What happens with this angle? Anything? Yeah, okay. So let's go back to ChatGPT. The shape appears to rotate only slightly. The rotation is in radians. Is okay, well, I'll just say that's between 0 and 2 times pi. Okay, let me copy that function up. There we go. Yeah. Well, hopefully that helps, right? Ugh. Scary. Still only rotating slightly. $45. I mean, I can do that. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Frustrating, but alright. So now we're back in degrees, right? I mean, that makes sense, but doesn't work. Goes like way off the thing. I think I know what it is here. To convert the width and height to the proper unit. I'll just copy that right there because I think that's going to be it. Yeah, no, I need to have the position. I need to have the length and the width are not enough. The length and the width are not enough for this. It needs to consider the shape, but its position here. How do we get the midpoint? How do we get the midpoint? Man, my brain is not working at full capacity today. What is my opinion on JS? I already shared it. Alright guys, I'm gonna take a quick break and I will be right back to get back to this rotation. Actually, no, I'm gonna just try one more thing. It's probably that simple. Do you know what I mean? And then, okay, yeah, obviously passing it in. We could use something to get the position from the existing shape, but we don't need to because we already have it. See? Whee! There we go, rotating triangles. Oh man, I love that, actually. I'm so glad I took the time to do that. That really is nice. Oh, that's so nice. I'm happy that I did that, that we did that. It's, yeah, okay, whatever. That's so cool, man. All right, now I'll be right back. Actually, let's do some art here. We'll make a BRB. I mean, we could rotate rectangles now. At a 45 degree. Now we have a diamond. Oh man, it's so cool. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry that I'm so giddy about this stuff. But man, it is cool. The delete is kind of weird on the rotated objects. You really don't, like, I really didn't appreciate how much was going to go into this, making this simple, quote-unquote simple art game, but I guess nothing is really simple. The only stuff that's, like, simple is stuff that's not really worth a damn. Cool. That's so cool. Oh, man. All right. Enough celebration. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy about that rotation. Let me commit that before I freaking get rid of it. Okay. Woo. Alright, so now we got a lot of stuff. A lot of progress, which I'm cool with. I might try to go back to the undo that I was doing earlier, but you know what? At the same time, maybe I won't. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, not a whole lot more to say. Alright, let me go ahead and make this real quick. An ellipse. Start using ellipses for my letters, because why not? It looks kind of weird. Ugh. Yeah. Uh-oh. Can I not erase these? Oh no. No. Wow. Wonder why I can't erase those. That's weird. Just those down there. Well, we got another bug, unfortunately. A nasty one. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm happy about the progress that was done. Yeah, there it is. I can't delete those. I have to look at why, because there's a problem. So this bottom halves, well, I can delete those, interestingly enough. Oh, there we go. Kind of. And there's just some of these I can't delete. And I'm not sure why. Definitely a bug. Alright, so we'll have to stay away from the ellipses for drawing this. I have to go at the rectangles. Let's see, I like what, 24 and 16? No, the opposite. Yeah, 24 and 16. That looks like it's off. Maybe not. My eyes are just fooling me. We'll go 8 and 8. Look at that. I can't delete that either. Crazy, right? Well, all this down here I can't delete right now. Another bug. So what do I do? Do I just make it higher? Hopefully that'll work. Making it taller. Or just up higher, I meant. Go 4-4 this time. Yeah, that does work. One thing I also want to implement is the ability to copy objects. I think that would be pretty sweet. There's no such thing as perfection. And for me, that's probably as good as it's gonna get. Alright guys, I'll be right back. Oop. It looks good enough. Whatever. Alright, I'll be right back. What's up, guys? So, I think that I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Apologize if you've been waiting. I'll go ahead and show what we've done today. It's pretty good progress. It's not the major stuff that I wanted to do, but it is pretty sweet. Alright, what do we do here? Probably not running the server anymore, huh? No, it works. I noticed that before. I don't know what's going on there. Alright, so we added this new shape called ellipse. And it's just a circle, except it has length and width. Think of it as an oval. Some weirdness going on with some pegs not being able to be erased, but I think that's similar to a different problem that we had, but yeah, not sure. Could be something else. I'll have to take a look. So that's the ellipse. And then the other thing which I absolutely love is this rotation. So we can now rotate our objects and do some pretty sweet stuff now. I can see the problem right there, by the way. It's from the rotation. The rotation is what's doing it. These rotations are moving the pegs to non-fixed positions, and it's a similar problem that I've had before. I'm thinking of a couple ways that I can deal with it, but definitely having the rotations is going to be crucial. I'm thinking that this is just going to be an adjustment that needs to be made. Just a slight adjustment, no big deal. And then the thing that we weren't able to accomplish today was undoing deletes. I came in here and I thought that was going to be a simple thing, but apparently not. I'm sure it is a simple thing, but my brain's just not working that way today. That's okay. Some days are better than others for this. But for today, I'm going to call it a day. And maybe I might be back tomorrow. Maybe I might be back later tonight. I don't know. Make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. And hit the like button, because that also helps me. And yeah, I appreciate every last one of you. You guys are amazing. The questions, the comments, I appreciate all of it. It just makes this so much more fun. And I can't wait to release this game. It'll be very soon. I'm going to work on the undoing deletes separately outside of the stream, because I do want to keep the streams a little bit... I want to keep the roadblocky stuff outside of the streams, because it's not very interesting. Okay, that's all from me. I'll see you guys next time. Oh wait, let me go to the chat real quick. Yeah, the end of the stream. Thank you so much for stopping by, Mushroom Cow. Thank you for everybody. See you next time.